Hey, Strong Girls. I'm Molly Herford, sports journalist, ultra runner, cyclist, and author, and founder of Strong Girl Publishing.
And I'm Dr. Sasha Golish, executive director of Yellow Running Shoes, a researcher, engineer, elite runner, and your BFF who's breaking down the science of smashing barriers in women's sports.
Think of us as the intersection of science and culture for women and girls in sport. Each week, we'll dissect the latest headlines and cutting-edge research on female athletes.
Debunk myths about girls in sport. Talk about how hormones affect performance at every age, to the latest research in sports science around mental performance, nutrition, equipment, and so much more.
And we'll spotlight badass girls and women who are rewriting the rules of the game, sometimes literally.
Expect it to be nerdy.
And occasionally TMI.
But it will always be honest.
Whether you're a strong girl yourself or you're raising one, this show is for you. Welcome to Strong Girl Talk,
where sports science meets sisterhood.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Strong Girl Talk, the 2025 Holidays edition. I am here with my good friend, Dr. Sasha Golish. Sasha, how are you this holiday season?
Oh my gosh, Molly, I'm in a very jolly mood. I didn't actually tell you this before we started recording. I spent yesterday afternoon being an elf, as I call it. So I fully put on a onesie with lights all over it, and I do a big toy drive up at the cottage and a food drive. And then we also collect donations, and then I do a big grocery shop for the Georgian Bay Food Network. So I'm feeling very thankful, and also a little bit like an elf because I dressed like an elf yesterday.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. What a cool thing to do. That's so fun. You're so good at these give back moments and just bringing joy and needed things to so many people, and I love you so much for that.
Oh, thanks. But I really I need to point fun at myself dressing. I picture me in the rest stop driving down the 400 yesterday in this onesie, filling my car up with gas and ordering. People are just looking at me. I was like, oh yeah, just owning it. I'm just owning it.
Honestly, I'm surprised people even had any reaction to that because I feel like this time of year, especially up here in Canada where it's very cold, I feel like we're all just wearing whatever. And whether you're dressed for the holiday or just wearing 800 layers, I feel like there's no silly onesie wearing. That's just logical in these temperatures.
The onesie wearing is logical. What was on my onesie was comical.
Okay, I did see pictures of this, so yes, agree. But again, 'tis the season for slightly unhinged outfits.
I'm wearing one right now. Merry everything on my very red sweater.
Yep. We had people over for dinner on Friday for kind of a little holiday thing with just some of our friends here, and everyone showed up in holiday sweaters. I did not call it a holiday sweater party. It was not an ugly sweater party. It was
right.
There was no theme, and everyone still wore them. And then of course I'm just in all black. Just hello everyone, welcome to the Morticia Addams Christmas extravaganza.
You need a holiday boa, right? Basically you need to just wear garland with your black outfits. I mean, I see a bright future for you.
Don't wanna refuse.
Okay. Well, you know what? Then just dress up DW.
It's true. Yeah, I actually had meant to put him in one of his many holiday sweaters and did not have the time. We had the large dog with us last week that we were dog sitting, and I put her in a holiday bandana and she looked very dapper. So that was nice.
Oh, she did. I did see that on the gram. She's great.
She's great. I was very sad to let her go, although I will be picking white hair out of everything for the next 5 to 7 years, I think.
Yes.
So, yeah. It's great. It's great. Anyway, we wanted to hop on the podcast to just first of all wish everyone a wonderful holiday season. I know holidays bring up a lot of stuff for people. I know they're not always the least stressful time of year. But here's hoping that everyone listening can carve out a little bit of peace and space and time to have some joyful moments this season, whether or not, you're really in the full-on holiday swing of things.
Okay, so gifts you give yourself. So, and it's actually hilarious. My family is now, please do this. So on Christmas Day, right? Christmas Day can be a stressful day, right? There can be gift opening, there can be a big brunch or breakfast. There's usually a big dinner. So anyways, it's often then complicated between all of those things for me to get exercise in. But my family is you need to figure this out or you are too crabby. So also knowing yourself and your boundaries. So yes, I will be gifting myself some form of activity on Christmas Day.
That's such a good one. And I'm gonna add like the asterisk to that as the gift yourself whatever kind of
Yes.
movement feels good for you on Christmas Day. And if that means you mainly are just vegging on the couch and maybe just go for like a quick little walk or do a quick stretch or something like that, or even you just take the day resting and chilling out because that's what you're in the mood for.
Yes.
We are such fans of that. If you want to go run a marathon, we're fans of that. If you
I've
want to
done
do
that on
something in the
Christmas Day
middle,
before. Yeah.
yeah. Who was I talking to? I was talking to someone who's well, track season is coming up, right?
It's
So actually our
in full
author,
swing.
yeah, our author, Misha Powell, her track season kicks off, I think, January 10th. And we were talking about it, and I was saying the crappiest Christmas I recall having is really when I was training for a 100 miler that was happening in like early February. So it meant that, yeah, Christmas weekend, Christmas fell, yeah, on a weekend. So I was doing, like a
Oh, yeah.
30-mile run one day and then a 20-mile run the next day. And I was like, this is not how I want to spend my holidays. So I no
Oh,
longer
see,
sign up for these February events.
I did that with Houston one year, and what actually for me was challenging was like I wanted to be in the warmer weather, but I also wanted to be here for the holidays. Anyways, it was just this like careful balance. Although again, I mean I love the long distance so much. I used to always on Christmas Day do a 24K run, which should my surgeon be listening, I promise I'm not going to do that on Christmas Day this year, given that I'm only 9 months post-op.
Yes. Happy 9-month anniversary, by the way. That does remind me that there's this comic strip called Fraz. That's like one of my favorite comics. It was like, just a newspaper daily comic. And every single Christmas, the author, who is a really big triathlon, cycling, running fan, every year he'd have the main character, Fraz, go out and do a morning run on Christmas. Like that was the comic strip, was like him doing a pre-dawn Christmas run. And I conceptually adore that idea. Like when it's still dark and quiet and you're just out, like maybe some people have their lights on and all this kind of like just this lovely moment in time. But then every time I've tried doing it, I wake up at 5 or 6 a.m. and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I don't want to be awake yet. No, going back to sleep.
Now, get this.
So maybe this will be the year. Maybe this will be the year.
I mean, Molly, the sun doesn't really rise here till like 7:30. Like you don't actually have to get up that early to get the dark run in.
This is absolutely true. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It's like I think we live like reasonably it's been and it is a dreary day. We had this like
Oh my
moment of sunshine
gosh.
this morning and now it's like
Yeah, and it's that really crappy. If you're in Ontario, you can empathize, or we empathize with you because we're here too, and we got so much snow in the past week, and it's all melting today, which
yeah.
means it's just disgusting slush that's normally like levels that are normally reserved for like April thaw
Yes.
happening right now.
Yeah,
It's so
totally.
gross. But so that's training during the holidays. Our other PSA, I think our dietitian friend Stevie Lynn Smith, author of Power Up, would also like to just point out this PSA that, holidays can be such a triggering time when it comes to eating,
Yeah.
whether you're an athlete or not. And I think this is just a reminder to give yourself some grace around this time of year. Enjoy this time of year. And do not stress about a few days this time of year. And don't forget, we're athletes. Like, we do need to eat.
Yeah.
So it is not the world's worst thing if you have a few extra cookies here and there.
Can I have a croissant too?
Yes, you can. You can have two
So,
croissants.
I,
Yeah.
so I'm going to Silver Star this week, and there's this great bakery, and so like the apple strudel is one of my favorite things to eat.
Oh,
And then, yeah, love me an apple strudel, love. And then they make really good carrot cake. So yes, it's funny. I've been thinking about that, and I've actually just been thinking about it, like even back to like outside of the holidays, and like when I was like running and competing my best, and it's when I just like ate, right? And I think like just eat. I mean, my toxic trait at the holidays though is to eat so much that I feel sick. And like listen, the only person I'm in the holidays for then is me. So just like I need a careful balance just so that like I actually just don't feel physically sick. But I figured it out. Yeah. Don't go back for thirds. Seconds is good enough.
I like it. I've really had to figure out the pre-gaming. And Stevie and I talked about this. We just had her on the Consummate Athlete, my other podcast, and we were talking about this concept of pre-gaming for holiday parties. And if you were a sorority girl
Right.
in college, you know the idea of pre-gaming before you go to the club where you like take shots or whatever. I'm not talking about that kind of pre-gaming.
Or maybe depending on who you
You
have
know
to spend
what?
the holidays with.
You
Yeah,
do
you do
you.
you.
You do you. But my pre-gaming is before we go to stuff. My rule of thumb is to try to avoid showing up to places hungry.
Oh my gosh, right? Exactly.
And not in the sense of like, oh, because I don't want to eat, like I don't want to
Yeah, yeah.
indulge in this stuff. No, just straight up, like it is really unpleasant to be at a social event where all you're thinking is like, where is the food and how
Yeah.
can I get it in my face? I
Yeah.
will say I accidentally did this yesterday. Just I had a bunch of calls and then like a old neighbor emergency before we were going over to new neighbor's place for a holiday thing. So by the time we got over to the new
Oh
neighbor's
God.
place, oh my gosh. I was like, my stomach is growling as they're trying to like give us a tour of the house. And
Oh my
I'm
gosh. Oh, I've been
legitimately
there.
like
Yeah, yeah.
concerned that they can hear my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Finally, they put out like a cheese plate, and I'm like, oh God, don't overdo the cheese plate. Not in the sense of, again, not in like a worry about
No,
calories
again.
or anything like that. More just in the worry of like, at some point, you're going to eat too much cheese and it's going to
And
hurt.
yes, yes. And like I find when I'm in those hungry situations that like I almost like overindulge, but like in like a vacuum way. Like it is like I can't get this in my mouth fast enough. And that's when I start to feel sick. Anyways, yeah. I
Exactly.
pre-game too.
So, yes, just a little snack before you go, a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbs, a little bit of fat. Doesn't take much.
Greek yogurt or chocolate milk. Like those are my two go-tos.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. In a pinch, we usually have protein. We keep protein powder in the van. So I'll
Yeah.
even do just like a quick, chocolate protein powder and water. It's not like the most delicious thing in the universe, but
Ah,
at least then I show up like hydrated and with protein in my system. So I feel much better. And hydration is definitely the big thing this time of
oh,
year. I did see an Instagram post that was like, okay, it's December. So my diet is now 25% coffee, 25% wine, 25% cookies, and 25% cheese. And I was like, that's
yeah.
getting close to accurate. So I need to remember to sip water, not just pots of coffee, which is my tendency when I'm home.
Okay, I have a sad water story. The water
Oh no.
itself is not sad. So to that point, I've been like making sure I have my water bottle, like when I went to the ballet over the weekend and like out and about. So I dropped my iPad when I was in Portugal and it chipped the top of the corner. And then I didn't quite do my water bottle up the other night at the ballet.
Oh
I,
no.
yeah, there's a waterfall in my iPad.
Oh
So
no.
not only did I not get to drink the water, I wrecked my iPad.
Well, Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
Okay, Christmas is coming, so is New Year's. And a couple months ago, we did a goals episode kind of preemptively thinking
Yeah.
towards this. And before we talk about anything resolution related, the obvious caveat, as athletes, we are setting goals year round. January 1st is just a date on the calendar. It is not the be all end all. If you're not a resolution person, we're not saying you should be or have to be. Um, I just love any excuse to do a little bit of thinking about my process, thinking about what I have coming up, reflecting on what the past year has been like. So I love a January 1st. I love a resolution.
Well, there's also colorful pens, post-its,
Oh,
like,
oh,
right?
the
Like
stationery.
a mood board. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it's also just like, oh, an excuse to be creative. It says the math and science girl.
Oh, sign me up,
Oh, yeah.
obviously. Obviously. So, our quick PSA, Strong Girl Publishing, we've got books for that. If you're
Totally.
thinking towards new year, not new you, same you, just maybe we're working towards a bigger goal. So, we have obviously Sasha's fantastic journal, The Unstoppable Journal. We have Power Up from Stevie Lynn Smith, all about nutrition for young women. Athletes, we have Sprinting Through Setbacks from Misha Powell and the workbook that goes with it. And we have the upcoming Beyond the Mirror workbook that is the accompaniment to the Mirror Diaries book by Vanessa Kuhlbeck. I will say the Mirror Diaries is like a middle grade book, but the workbook and anyone can read it, obviously, but adults might find it like written for middle grade. It's the same as Shred Girls. It might not really float your boat. But the workbook I think is actually good for any age. So would recommend.
Well, and
Well,
having reviewed the workbook, at like wholeheartedly agree. And then like I'm just gonna like pump your tires in your books, and like for some people, their goal is to like so one. I don't like the goal of like reading X number of books in a year because then you limit yourself to reading like bigger books. But anyways, if one of your goals is to read a little bit more, I highly recommend the books that Molly has written.
aw.
Um, I definitely start with Running as Fast as You Can. I like that is like that's a 2025 like favorite read for sure.
Ah, thank you. That
No,
is
thank you.
really was one of my favorite books too, right? I'm actually working on a sequel to it now, so it's coming. It's coming. Very excited. It's been, yeah, the sequel to it is probably the most the term romaniclef, where it's like it's not a memoir, it's very fictionalized, but it's the most I'd say that one's going to be the most based on my own sporting experience because I've written books for middle grade and young adult, and it's been grade school or like elementary school and high school. I wasn't an athlete in elementary school
Yeah.
or high school. So until now, like until this, which is where it's going to be Krista's college experience, like her first year of college, I was kind of making things up, right? Like it's
Yeah.
some of my experiences are in there and the people are very, have my personality and personalities of people I know and love in there. But I wasn't a cyclist when I was 12, like the Shrek
Right.
girls.
Yeah.
I didn't run high school cross country like Krista and Elle. So it's a lot of me, making up the story. So this is a little bit more these things actually happened.
So one of my goals actually, like one of my resolutions is to read more again in 2026. Um and maybe read more actual like again, I mean I'm not reading on my iPad anymore. I poured water all over it, but I think I'm going to start using the library to like actually hold physical books again. I've been reading some like interesting research about that like brain body mind body connection to books and like just how important it is to read something like in paper for that the focus part. So
Ooh, I could see that. Even a Kindle, right? It's a different
yes,
experience.
yeah, yeah. I might buy a Kindle or a Kobo, but I did. My mom gave me a book for the holidays. Raw's kids gave me a book for the holidays. My mom gave Raw a book for the holidays that I also want to read. So like I've got three, and they're like all three of them are like pretty thick. So like I got some reading ahead. I'm very excited, but I'm excited to get back to that, and then getting back to like reading in the morning. Like, lately, I've been sort of like getting up, getting right to my desk, and like getting to work, and I haven't read as much nonfiction as I have in the past. So I'm gonna make sure I bring back that routine.
I love it. I love it. I'm usually a fiction in the morning and during like lunch and stuff, and then a nonfiction at night person. And I'm currently in a season of like just all fiction all the time. It's my indulgence, and that's what I've been leaning into for the
Yeah.
holiday season. So I will get back to nonfiction in the new year, but for right now, we are straight up, and we've talked about this. I like trashy stuff. Like I like
Oh yeah.
trashy novels. I'm not gonna lie. Love me a Nora Roberts, a Janet Ivanovich. Like sign me up.
I was reading another good one. I think it's called the Encyclopedia of Fairies before I poured water all over my iPad. So yeah, I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Well,
totally indulging in that. But again, can't because yeah.
we all need some
Hmm.
escapism here, yeah. Um, Now, resolution wise, have you done any resolving yet, or are you still in the like I'm gonna spend some time on this in the next couple weeks phase?
It's a good question. I was just actually having a hot chocolate with somebody, not a coffee. That's right. I had a hot chocolate because I'm a
Love
child.
that.
Yeah, with marshmallows on top. And they were asking me, this relates to resolutions, like, do you have a running goal for next year? And I was like, I don't, right? Like, I don't want to, given where I've come in the last year, right? Like, every goal and every resolution is like for each person. So my resolution is to continue to run healthy, right? And it's like, well, that's not a change. It's like, but it is, right? Like for my mindset of like I'd like to train for X race or whatever, the resolution for me is actually just to continue to run healthy. And then if events come, they come, but I won't get injured actually is actually what I need to say. I won't get injured. Or less likely. There's still a chance.
That's
Chance.
a great one. I'm so proud of you for that.
Thanks. not it's I wrestle with it every day. I'm like, no, sign up for a marathon.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. Well, yeah, it's funny. I was talking to a friend yesterday and she's like, so what races have you signed up for? And I was like, none. She's like,
Done.
you're not, she like looks at me. She's like, you're not lying to me. Like she genuinely thought I was withholding my
Yeah.
race schedule. And the truth is nothing has really jumped out to me. I do think cyclocross next fall, but obviously you don't sign up for cyclocross races a year in advance.
You actually, and you can't in Ontario, just so you, like they're
It's
not actually, yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
can't.
not a thing. It's not
Yeah.
like a lot of the races I've done, marathons or whatever, where you're
Yeah.
signing up, yeah, years in advance kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'll do some running stuff this summer, but right now, nothing is really jumping out as like a thing that I deeply want to do. So I'm just not, and that's
So
fine.
what's one of your like 2026 resolutions?
Well, actually, this is where Misha's 1,000 days to LA comes into play here. So back in November, we launched, we realized it was coming up on 1,000 days, or in late October, it was coming up on 1,000 days until the LA 2028 Olympic Games. And for Misha, that's her big goal, in 2028. And I was like, oh, 1,000 days is like kind of a great runway for a big goal. So we started this whole 1,000 days, 1,000 day challenge concept where we want everyone to call a big goal for basically summer of 2028, which is a little arbitrary, but you know what? The 2.5 year kind of thing is kind of nice because it's
Yeah.
just far out enough that you can do a big scary thing,
Yes.
but it's close enough that it's not a 10-year goal is kind of who even knows who you're going to be in 10 years, right?
I was gonna say something morbid, but as you were, it's the holidays. Let's be
It's,
positive.
it's the holidays. So much can change in 10 years. Whereas 2.5 years, obviously stuff can change. We know this, but
Yeah.
it feels a little bit more manageable. It feels like something you can truly break down, but still, yeah, set up for a really big thing. So I said, for me, I think part of why I'm not as excited about racing is because Strong Girl Publishing is my big 2.5 year thing. Like, that's what I want to focus my attention and energy on. And obviously, I'll still race and I'm still training and all of that stuff. But you just can't have so many huge goals
Yeah.
going. I can't have this like massive athletic goal while also having this massive career goal. You can have some athletic goals and a massive
Yeah.
career goal, or you could have a huge athletic goal and some medium career goals. But I don't think you can have every, you can't be overhauling everything.
And that's such a great piece of advice with like resolutions. And I think that's why they end up failing, right? Is you try to like I'm going to change my sleep. I'm going to change my eating. I'm going to change how much water I drink. No. So like, what's a bite-sized thing? So like for me, I'm going to try to do okay. I'm about to sound like an absolute weirdo. So my hill repeat and my like reverse lunges, I'm going to try and do that once a week in January. That is my like bite-sized goal of staying healthy as part of my New Year's resolution. What's your bite-sized January resolution with Stronger Publishing?
Well, January, we are kicking off the first courses that we've ever done.
Oh
So my
yeah.
bite-sized goal for January is to, yeah, dig into those and make them as,
Own your story.
yeah, exactly. Make them as good as I humanly can. I'm super excited about them. And, a little nervous because it's something kind of completely different. From a daily habit perspective, in November, Misha and I were trying to do this 1,000 burpees in
Oh my
November
gosh.
challenge,
Yeah.
which I just did a video on because we've extended it through December, and December 30th we're gonna do a giveaway with a bunch of really great swag. So you don't have to do 1,000 burpees. You just have to tag us and let us know what your 1,000 day challenge is for yourself. But the burpees are a really fun one because if you think about even the concept of doing 1,000 burpees within the month, that actually breaks down to like 33 a day,
Yeah.
which if you just do a few sets of, you know, 5, 6 burpees sort of throughout the day as you're like, oh, I'm, getting up from my desk to get water. Let me just do quick that. And whether it's burpees or squats or lunges or
See, this is where I'm like, everything else, sure. Burpees? Why burpees? Burpees are so, I just want, world, Burpees are hard. Let's just put it out there.
This is true. This is true. So when I did the video, I was like, you could do burpees. Or the like yoga version of it is you just do sun salutations where you
Yeah.
stand up, you salute the sun, you come down into a forward fold, walk yourself out into a plank, and then walk yourself back up. So it's a much more gentle version that still gets your body moving and still feels really nice. So yeah, kind of, I like the idea of figuring out each month kind of what you're gonna focus on. Misha and I are also breaking it down in 100-day increments because her book, Sprinting Through Setbacks, has 10 chapters. So for each 100 days, we're kind of breaking it into one of the chapters of the book, basically. So we started with beginner because we thought, how better to, what better way to start
Yes.
your journey than deciding that you're a beginner wherever you are, right? Like Misha is deciding she's a beginner, even though she's obviously a very accomplished track runner. But how do you proceed with this beginner mindset instead of the mindset of like, oh, I already know everything. I already have this dialed.
And or I have to be at this level, right? Like
Hmm.
I had a great conversation about that with somebody yesterday about this like idea of like thrive. I would just but combine two words, but flourishing and thriving, right? But
Mm.
we've like glorified flourishing and thriving, and like it exists on a continuum, right? And most of the time we'd actually like more identify it as like just like coping and managing, but like flourishing and thriving is like coping and managing in a positive manner, but that doesn't mean that like negative things and frustration don't come up. So like I'm thinking about the burpees and like trying to get, it's probably like 33 and a third every day, and then like if you had it in February it'd be different. Anyways, 28. Haha, I guess math girl. But like giving yourself like, instead of saying like, oh, today was a terrible day because I didn't hit my 33, it's like it's just managing those ebbs and flows so that like generally speaking you stay on like the positive side of things. Anyways.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. So I like the idea of, yeah, pausing, figuring out what are these small habits that are going to get you where you want to go, and putting goals in place that you actually can get to. I know
Yes.
we talked about this in the goals episode, right? It's, what is it? It's outcome, performance, and process goals, or those sort
Yep.
of our three.
Yeah.
I like the performance one in the middle.
Yeah.
That was this one that I had never really thought that much about, but it's a great one that I think we ignore in favor of just figuring out outcome goals, which are the I'm going to win the race, but you don't control if
No.
you're going to win the race because you don't control what everyone else is doing, let alone what the weather is like or like
Weather.
yeah,
Oh,
all
weather.
these factors. Um, and sometimes the process goals, I think it's very easy to get kind of caught up in the weeds on them a little
Yes.
bit.
Yes. Wholehearted yes. Yeah.
And choose ineffective ones that feel good. Like, so this is my Duolingo thing, right? We talked
Right.
about this. This is
Yeah.
why I quit Duolingo because I had this process goal of like, I do a Duolingo lesson every day. And I'd done it for over 1,000 days. And guess how well I speak French, having done my one lesson a day for 1,000 days.
Ton français ne pas bon.
Je ne parle français. Or je ne parle pas français. See, I
Yes.
can't even put together that sentence. Um, So that was a process goal that just didn't really make sense because I didn't attach any performance goal to
Yeah.
it, right? Like I had no metric for where I wanted to go with it beyond, oh, I have this thing where I do Duolingo every day. And like, aren't I so great for doing Duolingo every No.
So, okay, here's one thing I'm letting go of: resolution. And like, actually, this is like really hard for me. And this is like verging on where like I have OCD and it like messes with my mental health. For the last few years, I have tracked my Nordic skiing by number of days. So, what, like, to see how many days I can get per year. And then it starts to take away from the enjoyment and the performance of actually just going outside and trying to work as hard as you can on your skis, or going out to like move on your skis or whatever. And it's actually, I went for a snowshoe last week instead of going for a Nordic ski. And it's this detachment, but it's that specifically like I've then actually attached an outcome and negative performance with what the goal is, which is just to be active and move my body in some way. Sometimes it's sport where I'm like, it's structured and organized and I'm like with people or competing. And sometimes it's exercise. But when I put that number on it, oh my gosh, Molly, it is so like just poor overall for me. So that is one of my resolutions. I am not doing that this year.
Oh, I love that. Well, and again, talk about a resolution that when you start thinking about it, you actually have less control over than you think. The Today,
Yes.
again, it warmed up. It's slushy out. I was gonna ski all week. That was my plan. Guess what I'm not doing today? Because it's slushy. Not skiing anymore. Got in one. That was it.
No, I do want to make everybody laugh just with a little bit of skiing fun. So, Molly and I have both been skiing. Unfortunately, not together yet, but we will do that. So I don't
We
know if
skied
it's
together
been.
last year.
No, I meant this year. We haven't done
Okay.
it yet this year. Yeah, yeah. No. I need some Molly ski time. So we've had a lot of oak leaves in our area, and I ski with skins. Their skins are amazing. What a great piece of technology. Like, if you're a casual skier, highly recommend it over trying to wax your skis. But the oak leaves really stick to the skins. And so, and just with the way the wind is and like how ours, anyways, the tracks were like fully full of oak leaves the other day. And it was just like, I guess I'll just classic ski, not on the tracks today. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. But you made it
Adjust.
work.
I made it work. I did have a good laugh. I was like, there are leaves everywhere.
I tell you, I skied on Sunday on the Georgian Trail here, and I had to keep like calming myself down because my biggest pet peeve is when someone has made ski tracks on the
And then
trail
somebody walks on them.
and then people just walk directly on them.
Yeah.
And I can almost forgive it when people are just walking in boots. What really grinds my gears is when people snowshoe on top of them. I'm like,
I
you are
just,
literally wearing snowshoes. Like, the point of snowshoes is that you're in the snow, not on these tracks that I've made.
so I just want you to know that I'm that snowshoer that makes sure I walk on the other side of the tracks. Like, and if I have to cross them, I actually like try to like really like pick my feet up and like go like to not ruin the ski tracks. So yes, I have
Yeah.
appreciation for that.
Yeah. So I was getting really grumpy, and then I had to keep like calming myself down and being like, it's beautiful. You're out here skiing. This is fun. You're having a great time. I was like, people suck. Nope, nope, nope. We're gonna find the joy. We're gonna find
Did
the
you
joy.
have DW with you?
Oh God, no.
Okay, just curious.
No, no, he does
Okay.
not do. I don't know how I would do that with him actually, because like the snow would be way too deep for him to like join me
Yeah, it's a good
on
point.
foot. And I don't think he'd really like the backpack when I'm skiing because I am not really a smooth skier by any stretch. I think that's actually like where we're gonna wrap for our holiday episode, unless you have any other thoughts on resolutions or other things you want to add before we close out for the year. We'll be back early next year with a new episode, but yeah, until then, any final parting words?
Just be flexible, be kind to yourself, and have the best time this holiday season, right? However you celebrate, whatever celebration means to you, like celebrate yourself, celebrate others. And I think, just yesterday in my big drop off, like really think about connecting with community and doing something for somebody else if you can.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And speaking of connecting, we would actually love to hear from you, our community, as we head into 2026. I can't believe we've been doing this for nearly a year now. Like, we're coming up on our 1 year podcast anniversary, which is wild.
I can't wait to get you a gift.
My God. So we want to hear from everyone listening. What do you want to hear more of? Do you want us to go back to doing more of our sport highlights that we were doing earlier in the show? Do you want us to hit more of the science stuff? Do you have any questions you want us to answer? Do you have any guests you want us to have on? Let us know either over on the Substack, over on either of our Instagrams. We're at Sasha. Wait, so
Escala's friends, you're good.
Escala
You're fine.
friends, yeah.
You're fine.
Darn it, I knew it. I'm
fine.
at Molly J. Herford. We have at Strong Girl Publishing and at yellow.running.shoes. We will include obviously all of those in the show notes. And yeah, also we would so appreciate any rating, review, subscribing, all that stuff. That is the holiday present that you can give us. All right, with that, happy holidays, everyone, and we will see you next year. Thanks so much for tuning into the Strong Girl Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, definitely head over to wherever you listen to podcasts and rate, review, and of course, subscribe so you never miss another episode. And head over to stronggirlpublishing.com to check out all of the books by Strong Girl Publishing's authors, including Molly Herford, Misha Powell, and so many more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.